You've probably heard of Michael Burry, the man, the myth, the legend that shorted the housing market back in 2009. In more recent times, he's been in the news for different reasons. Like, for example, when he tried to short Tesla stock and inadvertently actually changed his mind because Tesla started to go up and up and up and is now sitting at $1 trillion market cap at the time of making this video. And a little bit before then, he actually even talked about shorting Bitcoin as it tried to reach the 60K mark. And a little bit before that, he was actually one of the first early investors into GameStop. Now, all of that aside, he has made a lot of good bets, whether it was betting against the housing market or buying up GameStop before it became a meme. But more recently, he sold out of some of his biggest positions, including big names like Bed Bath & Beyond, Facebook, Google, Apple, and so many other companies that you would sit there and probably think, why would you do that? And he sold all of those awesome big company investments that we all know and love to only hold 9 stocks in his entire portfolio. And those are the stocks that we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going to share with you at what price he bought it at, what price it's at now, and the percentage that he holds of that company in his entire portfolio. And without any further ado, let's talk about the 9 stocks that Michael Burry owns in his portfolio. So the first one and the biggest holding in his portfolio is Ovintiv Incorporated. If you haven't heard of them, that's okay, because they're actually just a petroleum company that you probably just don't hear every day, but he has over 19% of his portfolio invested in just this one company. And he only bought this company in Q2 of 2021, but he bought it at a measly price of $26.87. And at the time I'm making this video, the stock price sits at $39.09 for a total return of 45.5% in much less than a year. The next company is Discovery Incorporated. You've probably heard of this company before. They're actually the ones that are merging with AT&T to soon form the biggest media franchise to this day. And I have a whole video outlining the merger if you want to go check that out. I'll make sure to link it at the end of this video for you guys if you haven't seen it already. But he holds roughly 16.9% of his portfolio in this one stock, and he bought this also just a few months back in Q2 of 2021 for a share price of $31.06, but it's actually down to $24 at the time making this video. So he's roughly down about 21% on this position, but I wouldn't be surprised if he cut his losses or added more or just even held on, because if you know him, he likes to hold on until he can't anymore. If you watch Big Short, you know what I'm talking about. And the third stock on the list holds 16.6% of his portfolio, and that is Geo Group Incorporated. Again, you probably haven't heard of the stock, and that's totally okay, but they're a facilities support services company, and he's up about 14% on the stock. He bought it right around $7.14, and the stock is sitting at around $8.14 at the time I'm making this video. And the next stock on Michael Burry's list you probably have heard of, that is CVS. That's right, the pharmacy near you CVS that I'm talking about, that's probably down the street from you, holds 14.3% of his portfolio. He bought this stock at $70.62, and he's actually added 81% to this position. So this position was almost half just at the beginning of this year. And when you take the average purchase price compared to what it is today, he is up roughly 24% on the stock. The next stock on our list is CoreCivic Incorporated, which is actually a competitor for Geo Group, the stock we talked about right before CVS. He holds 9.5% of his portfolio in this company, and he bought it at $7.5, and it's sitting at around $9 per share as of right now, which means he's roughly up 20% on this position so far. And the next one is an industrial iron and steel manufacturing company by the name of Suncoke Energy, which he holds 8.7% of his portfolio in this one stock, which he bought at $5.47, and you guessed it, it's up today to $6.85, which is a not too shabby increase again of around 25%. Now, the next one he is down on, but not as much as his first big down position, which was Discovery Incorporated. But this company is called Scorpio Tankers, and you can probably guess from the name, they're a deep sea freight and transportation company, which he lost about 8% on, and it holds around 8% of his portfolio as well. But this can quickly reverse because we have had some shortages, and that means more and more ships need to take port in order to make up for the bottlenecks of the ships that are in certain harbors. So owning a freight and transportation company isn't so bad right now. But he bought the stock at around $18.78, and now the stock is sitting around $17.27. But he's definitely more than doubled down on this position because recently in the previous quarter, he bought over 200% more of this stock than he was holding before. The next one is also a competitor of the previous company, and that one is called Golden Ocean Group Limited. But this one, he's actually up around 37%, even though it only holds about 5% of his entire portfolio. And so he bought this stock at $6.81, and it's sitting at a nice and cool $9.36 as of right now. And finally, you've made it to his newest position and the very, very smallest position on this entire list, which takes up a measly 1.2% of his entire portfolio. This is a new holding. This is a stock called VY Global Growth, which he happened to buy at 10.07 and is now worth $9.84 per share, which is nearly break even, but he is technically down around 2.5% on this one as well. Overall, his portfolio is doing pretty nicely, but like I mentioned before, he did sell out of some of his biggest positions, including Facebook, Google, Apple, Bed Bath & Beyond. And if you enjoyed this episode and you want to see the full playlist of all the gurus that I've done videos on, from Cathie Wood to Warren Buffett to Jim Simmons to Bill Gates and so many more, if you want to see that, make sure to smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll go ahead and link it up here with another video that YouTube thinks you might enjoy.